Inside Bank of America Stadium, the guys who are ready to deliver those hits are warming up. We're just an hour away from kickoff. It's the Carolina Panthers and the Cleveland Browns.
The moment has arrived, and so is the most-watched Panthers pregame show in the Carolinas. Welcome to the 2025 preseason. This is Black and Blue Kickoff Live. Carolina Sports Live's Gabe McDonald alongside Mike Cossette. Panthers rookies reported 17 days ago, and tonight is the next step in finding out the identity of the 2025 Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, let's do it. We're getting you set for kickoff, which is just coming up in an hour. The game, of course, you can watch right here on Queen City News. And to get you set, we're doing it in style. We've got exclusive interviews with a couple of new Panthers in Tenero McMillan and Nick Skort. And, of course, we got the largest cast of any Panthers pregame show, anchored by former Panther and current legend Al Wallace.
And we also have sideline reporter Casey Funderburg holding it down on the field. Joey Ellis back in the studio as well. And Chief Meteorologist Tara Lane giving us the game day weather, which looks pretty good for the time being. But let's go ahead and talk some football and get you ready for kickoff, because this is the first team.
All right, Bryce sounds ready. We're ready, too. And here's what we're watching tonight. You can follow along with us. First, how long will the starters be in the game? Remember, last season, we didn't see them at all until the final preseason game. We have a little bit of idea, but it's something we're going to be keeping an eye on. Also, we'll be watching the rookies, and we're not just talking about T-Mac. And after a historically bad 2024 season, the defense is going through a youth movement. It starts with Nick Skort and Princely Uman-Mielen. Plus, we have a running back competition as well. Trevor Etienne was drafted for a reason, but Raheem Blackshear has been in Carolina for a few seasons now. Both are going to get heavy reps tonight. And, of course, Gabe, we've got company in the booth. And now, if we were playing basketball, we've got height. Al Wallace joins us now.
Absolutely, the former Panthers defensive end, a legend around these parts, back for another season of coverage. Al, this is a game where guys like you were undrafted really make a name for themselves in order to crack that 53-man roster.
Yeah, it's incredible, guys. I still kind of feel the nerves. 28 years ago, I was a rookie in Jacksonville trying to make a name for myself, trying to carve a niche in the NFL, and to be back in Bank of America Stadium, kicking off another season with you guys is the place to be.
Absolutely. And when you look at, some of the main storylines tonight, what are going to be some of the main things that you're watching for? Because we saw a little bit of action in the joint practice, but tonight is going to be ramped up a little bit. What are some of the main things you got your eye on?
Yeah, I think if you're Dan Morgan and you're Dave Canales, what you want to see is guys go out there and absolutely execute. You want to see them perform the way they practice. Minimal mistakes, executing on both sides of the ball, making tackles, right? These guys don't do full tackling in practice, and then passing, catching, blocking, doing all the fundamentals. The score means nothing, guys. It's about going out and looking like you've practiced for the last 3 weeks in training camp.
All right, so since winning is not priority number one, how can the casual fan watch tonight and determine if progress is in fact being made?
Yeah, Mike, you're looking for a pace of play. You're looking for that offense to come out, especially the first group, and look sharp as they go out and execute this offense. Is the ball coming out on time? The blocks in concert with one another. And then on the defensive side, clean tackling, perfect execution, competing at a very high level. You want to see that aggression come out here tonight.
Plenty of storylines tonight, but the big one has got to be the fact that Bryce Young is playing. He didn't play last year in the first preseason game. And for more on that, we're going downstairs to Casey Funderburg.
Yeah, guys,
All right, thank you so much, Casey. Al, I know this is very much a leading question, but why do you think Bryce Young is ready to take another step this year?
Because this is his team, and he knows that now. When you're a rookie, even into your second year, you may not believe that this team, this offense belongs to you. Bryce figured that out last year, and he played with confidence, and there's no doubt in my mind we'll see it tonight, and we'll see it when the regular season starts.
Confidence certainly going a long way, and we got a lot more coming up here on Black and Blue Kickoff Live. We're just getting started, but we got this coming up in just a little bit.
How you gonna act like that?
Oh, listen to the vocals, folks. Bam Martin Scott can do it all. He can sing, and of course, he can play football. Up next, he explains how he's gone from undrafted to on the verge of making Carolina's roster.
I don't know if we're going to sing in here. Carolina Sports Live's Joey Ellis in studio, and I'm no doctor, but I'm going to play one on television. A number of key Panthers are taking it easy tonight, while a few were legit hurt and actually could miss time, including a Pro Bowler. I've got your injury report for tonight's game coming up.
I'm ready for you, Dr. Ellis. Another live look at Bank of America Stadium. Both teams are warming up for the first preseason game of the year. We've got much more Black and Blue Kickoff Live right here on Queen City News.
Best as in Bam Martin Scott.
Yeah, Al, he actually just wants to be just like you. We'll explain more about that in a second. But as far as his name goes, it's not the only thing that was commanding attention at training camp. Bam Martin Scott is on the verge of making this Panthers roster. Earlier in the week, I had a chance to catch up with him, And as well, I got a little tune out of it, too. Our thanks to Bam for the time and for also bearing his soul to us as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Had, some pretty good bars there. We'll see how things turn out for him. But we alluded to it earlier, Al. He's trying to take that Al Wallace path to making the Panthers roster as an undrafted guy. What does he have to do to crack that 53-man roster? And what have you seen from him so far in training camp?
Yeah, you got to continue to stack good day after good day. And that's what I did way back in 1997. Philadelphia Eagles, Jacksonville Jaguars decided that I was going to win every event. I was competing with folks that didn't know I was out there competing. That was in stretch. Every rep, every period, every day, I wanted to win every possible chance I got to step on the field. I woke up and looked up, and I made the roster. It's a dream come true, and guys like Bam will be fighting for that tonight out on the field.
Well, hopefully he's able to do it. We're rooting for him. Well, we got plenty more tonight on Black and Blue Kickoff Live, including this one. The Panthers took a tight end out of Notre Dame, but wait a minute. Don't they already have a tight end out of Notre Dame? Yeah, it's Tommy Tremble. We're talking about him and the other tight ends coming up next.
And from nearly retiring to having Dabo Swinney talk him into being a Panther, Hunter Renfro's had one crazy roller coaster of a year, and it might just continue here in Carolina. We catch up with the Clemson product when Black and Blue Kickoff Live continues right here on Queen City News.
But once that roster is set, how balanced is the passing going to be around all the different wide receivers that they got?
Yeah, it makes it easy for Bryce. You throw to the open guy. You take what the defense gives you. And for a quarterback, that's a dream come true. So now they have so much talent at the wide receiver position. Bryce just has to go out there and operate in the offense.
You mentioned, obviously, Jimmy Horn Jr. That speed is unlike anything we've seen. How dynamic could a guy like that be when he's in there?
Oh, man, he's scary. When you look at him, you look at the body size, you look at how he comes off the ball. He's just going to open up things for everybody else. The tight ends underneath the running backs in the passing game, and certainly safeties, linebackers, they're going to have their hands full. This guy can absolutely fly. Yeah.
Well, we got tight ends on the field right now and running backs, and that's appropriate because we're talking up next about tight ends. How
Absolutely.
about
the tight ends, they can also catch, too. They can block a little bit as well. Very versatile players. And, of course, that's going to be an important position for this Dave Canales offense. Panthers might not have their top tight end on the field right now, but the depth of the group is stepping up in the
Now, whoever makes the group is going to be tasked with continuing the position's growth. Back in 2023, it was up and down between three guys, including Tremble. 5 different guys, but a bulk of work going to Tommy, Steve Sullivan, and Hayden Hurst, who got a concussion and never really got back to himself. Tremble led in receptions and yardage by the end, but not one tight end got over 200 yards on the year. They, as a group, ended up with 503 yards. Fast forward a year, Tremble is the main man with Jatavian Sanders. Both of them expand on the role this year. 234 yards for Tommy with 2 touchdowns. Sanders 342 yards and 1 score. These two did more with less as well. Now, in 2023, the main tight end group had 88 targets, while the next year they got more out of the reps. 75 targets, but more yardage between the two guys compared to the 3. Al, how important is the tight end room to Carolina's success this year?
Yeah, it's hard for me to gauge how important it is to Dave Canales. That's the most important piece. But what I do know when I look at the playoffs, I see tight ends. I see really good tight ends that make it to the championship games, into the Super Bowl. If you have a good one, it changes your offense. And for Dave Canales, he has a lot of youth and talented athletic tight ends. He has to find a way to work them in. 75 targets, 80 so targets, has to have an uptick in 2025. We got to see more production out of that position.
You mentioned the youth there. Jatavian Sanders, obviously a 4th-round pick last year, a lot leaner, lost about almost 20 pounds, moving around well. How big is this year for him to take that next step and being that guy that's also versatile not only in the passing game but as a run blocker too?
Yeah, rookie year is so hard. You're trying to find a place to live. You don't know where you are in this city, and it takes a while before you get used to being a pro. He knows what it takes from a nutrition, exercise, and preparation standpoint. Now he can go out and play football in the best shape of his career. I think we're going to see this guy thrive and be that tight end, that number 1 passing threat that we saw coming out of Texas.
Wow, so you think he could be the guy at that position by
year's
end?
I am positive JT Sanders is going to be the guy. Tommy Tremble is a different type of tight end. He's more of a blocker coming out of Notre Dame. They love him, but if you're going to be good, if it's going to be a pass game threat, it's going to be JT Sanders.
Definitely looking forward to seeing them on the field tonight and, of course, throughout the season as well. And you mentioned a rookie. We've got to talk about, of course, Teteroa McMillan coming up here on Black and Blue Kickoff Live. Up next, we're taking a closer look at Carolina's entire rookie class, led, of course, by the man known as Nalo, star wide receiver Teteroa McMillan out of Arizona.
And Big Al made his name on this show with his keys to the game, but they're going to look a little bit differently this time around. We'll explain why coming up next.
And we got an aerial shot outside the bank thanks to our Arlington camera. The fans braving the elements, and so will the players as well, even though it's looking pretty sunny for the time being. We got more Black and Blue Kickoff Live coming up next, right here on Queen City News. On Queen City News.
And if you think the players are ready, all you got to do is look at these guys. The fans are lining up outside the stadium. They're filling up the stands. Now that the weather is good, we expect to be able to get this one in without any delay. We're going to check in with Tara Lane in just a little bit about that.
Welcome back inside Bank of America Stadium. This is Black and Blue Kickoff Live. Gabe McDonald, Mike Cassett, and the 10-year NFL vet, Mr. Al Wallace. And guys, there's no doubt about it. Dane Morgan, he was cooking with this 2025 draft class.
He certainly was, and it started with the big guy out of Arizona, the wide receiver that surprised everybody, talking about Tedero and McMillan. Morgan then found his way to Nick Scorton in the second round, then traded up to get Princely Uman-Mielon in the third. Running back depth was addressed in the fourth with the versatile Trevor Etienne from Georgia. And then here's a guy who stood out during camp, rookie Lathan Ransom. He was a steal in round 4. Expect a lot from Cam Johnson tonight. The Florida defensive tackle will get plenty of time, as will Mitchell Evans, the tight end out of Notre Dame, the other tight end out of Notre Dame. Finally, round 6 saw Jimmy Horn Jr. land in Carolina. We'll also see him get plenty of reps tonight, too. Al, now that we've had a couple of months away from the draft, has your opinion changed on how well Carolina did?
Yeah, I think when you look at it, everyone was shocked. I know I was when the Panthers, who were in need of an edge rusher, didn't go out right away and draft an edge rusher with that 8th overall pick. But now that you sit back and you look at how this team has formed, you got to love T-Mac and what he brings to the table. And then the 2 young guys are going to get their opportunity behind 2 veterans that the Panthers brought in from Minnesota the last couple of years.
So you're now officially president of the T-Mac fan club.
Sign me up. The guy is smooth. He's confident. I love receivers. You go out there and make plays. Prove me wrong. Go out there and do what you're supposed to do, and you get your first look at him tonight.
And, of course, he was the 8th overall pick, but there are a lot of diamonds in the rough. Who do you maybe see as the biggest surprise of that draft class?
I think Etienne is a guy that is going to be able to be really good in special teams. He'll be able to return some kicks, but also when you see him in practice, his shiftiness, his quickness, his spatial awareness is going to allow him to crack this lineup. I think get a few touches this year at the running back position.
Is that the only way, though, special teams, that Etienne really found his home here on this Carolina team, especially with Jonathan Brooks waiting in the wings to get his job back?
Yeah, you look at Chuba Hubbard, obviously what he's going to be able to do. He's going to be your guy, right? So I think if you're a rookie runner, you have to play special teams. What can you do to add to this team? I played 10 years in the NFL running down on kickoffs. Etienne is not going to be able to crack this lineup right away. He's going to have to be doing the dirty work on special teams.
Well, speaking of rookies, we actually have one on our roster making her Bbkl debut tonight. Our own Casey Funderburg. She's down in the field and has more on T-Mac. I like that. Casey, Al rather, after the Panthers surprised a lot of people by taking T-Mac last year with their first pick, how much pressure is on him to perform this year?
0. This guy just has to go out and play the game that he's played all along. Just have football. No pressure is on a rookie wide receiver. You're going to look to those 2 pass rushers. Bryce Young, you're going to take a look at what he's doing. And then everybody coming together. There's no pressure on T-Mac. He just has to go out there and play football.
Absolutely. The Panthers getting ready to head back into the locker room for one final message before kickoff. But staying with T-Mac, Al, you think about just expectations. What can we realistically expect out of him this rookie season as far as numbers-wise? A lot of people talk about Kelvin Benjamin, the season he had as a rookie. What can we realistically expect out of number 4?
I think he's your possession receiver, right? I think as a rookie, you're not going to see him blow guys away with speed or run after the catch. But if he can move the chains, pick up first downs, catch the ball, he's going to do his job as a rookie. They have so much depth. They have so many other personalities at wide receiver. Just pick up first downs. That big body, that smooth route running guys, I'm not going to lose any sleep over T-Mac.
And we can't waste any more time without getting to your favorite segment of every single Bbkl. It is just a preseason, but we still got to give our 3 keys to the game ahead of kickoff.
And we're going to do things a little differently. Obviously, you want to win this game, but that's really not what this is all about. It's all about making improvements. But there are some things we want to see. And Al, I know the first thing you want to see is a nice, long drive down the field that ends in a touchdown from QB1, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You go out there and execute. The ones are going to get 8 to 12 snaps. We heard from Dave Canales, and what you want to see those guys do is just go out there, move the ball, have some rhythm, mistake-free football. If they're able to do that, you're going to feel really good about Bryce Young and that first unit, especially on offense, once this preseason game is over.
Key number 2, we're looking at the Browns. You want their quarterbacks to really look like rookies. Now, one of them actually is in the starter, Shedeur Sanders, but you also have Tyler Huntley, who they just signed this week. You really want to see Carolina's pass rush, especially with those 2 rookies, really create some havoc in the preseason opener.
That's right. Don't think just Hunt on defense. That's how you play football on that side of the ball. If you're the young guys that are going to get in there, Shedeur Sanders, your job is to cause chaos and frustration. You're not sure what to do, just play fast, just be physical. That's defensive football. That's how it's been. That's the culture and the tone that's been set here in Charlotte for a very long time.
Finally, key number 3 has got to be, you know it, be special on special teams. Out for a lot of these guys, it's the only way they're going to make this team.
Yeah, I wouldn't be standing here, guys, if it weren't for my ability as a defensive end, 6'5", 270 pounds, running down and running into a wedge on special teams. I signed up gladly for that job. The guys that are on the bottom of this roster have to stand out. The way you do it, physicality on special teams. Make yourself known, make a play, show up in a positive way tonight on film.
Absolutely. And there you have it, the 3 keys to the preseason opener tonight. And you talked about the pass rush. Coming up next, we have a guy joining us who literally gets paid to get after the quarterback.
Have you had one of those, like, oh my gosh, I thought I was good moments, but this guy here, he's ridiculous good. All right, you're nodding your head, so what happened? Break it down for me. Apparently Nick Scorton has already had his welcome to the NFL moment. Find out what it is when we go one-on-one with the Panthers rookie.
And Bryce Young has always been the talk of the town in Carolina, but one Cleveland Brown has been taking notice of his work more than others. Which one is it? You'll hear from him coming up next.
And as we look across live at Bank of America Stadium, the biggest moment of 2025 has already happened. It was one of the most epic touchdowns we've ever seen, and the guy who scored it doesn't even have a driver's license. We'll tell you all about it when Black and Blue Kickoff Live continues right here on Queen City News. There's plenty of excitement on the defense, and that one is the rival of one of their rookies, Nick Scorton. He's not just coming to hit quarterbacks. As I learned earlier in training camp, he's coming to rack up wins too. Day 2 of Panthers training camp in the books, and not. And these odds aren't too shabby. And yes, in fact, there are odds for a preseason game. The Panthers are 6.5-point favorites at home in this exhibition. Just 2.5 to 1 favorites, in fact. Over/under is set at 33.5. The books like the Panthers rushing game tonight as the team goes for over 200 yards, pays over even money. Passing touchdowns just about a little trickier. That's just under 2 to 1. Doesn't matter who does it. Just needs to happen for a winner. Guys, we've reached the end of the line as teams are about to come out. Al, what's the best case scenario for the Carolina Panthers this evening?
You want to see a clean drive. 8 to 12 plays would preferably be the mode right there. And Bryce Young and this offense, first team, put the ball in the end zone. Defense, get after Shedeur, frustrate him a little bit. Let's see the ability to stop the run that plagued us last year.
Real quick, if there's one guy you had to single out in particular, who needs to make the biggest impression tonight going forward?
I think if you can get Xavier Legette to start making plays right now, that's going to be a good sign for fans and for his teammates to build that confidence and rapport with Bryce Young.
Absolutely. You just might see him ride dollar bill tonight here in Bank of America Stadium. That's going to do it for Black and Blue Kickoff Live. Enjoy the game coming up at 7 right here on Queen City News. And be sure to stick around for Carolina Sports Live on Queen City News tonight at 11 o'clock. For Joey Ellis, Casey Funderburg, Al Wallace, and Michael Sett, I'm Gabe McDonald. Enjoy the game and keep pounding.